is the announcement that has been made on Monday by Javier Perestaso that Swift is going to add the blockchain ledger into the financial cross-border network. What do you think about that?
I know that other people are looking at this quite pessimistically. I have an more optimistic view, because I think in the worst case scenario, this blockchain ledger, implementation of blockchain ledger will help Swift to change the processes. Because we both agree here that business has to drive the technology. The technology is an instrument for solving business models, solving business issues. I honestly think that this will help them to reshape a little bit the internal process, because sometimes I have a feeling that this company has a very slow processing. Maybe I'm wrong, but I honestly sure that blockchain approach will change the process, because they have to hire people who are working in blockchain. But people who are working in blockchain, they are super smart. Super smart. They are also very agile. They're moving swift. So yeah, what do you think about this?
I think recently I heard the explanation or the phrase that winner takes it all. And it seems that Swift has this feeling that they're not a winner anymore. And they're trying to kind of cope with the situation by introducing the technical solution rather than the business solution. Usually I'm on the tech side, but in this way, I would like to give a step back and understand why Wise is surviving the competition with the Swift. Because you can think the company, which has been founded in 1955 as a Switzerland company to dominate the payments and provide the network for the cross-border transfers. And actually, by nature, Swift is not executing the transfers. The Swift is just the network which is providing the trustees and the messages across the network of the correspondent banks. And then it doesn't settle, it doesn't provide the financial raise. It's just someone with a trustable source who's saying, okay, you own this company or this bank to this bank at transfer. I'm taking the fee on top of that. And I think the name is even a little bit misguiding, because maybe it was really Swift in 20th century, but in the 21st century, we see that the models which are appearing on the market with the Wise, with the stable coins, is a potential threat to the business model of Swift. And the cherry on top, taking the technology that has been existing for almost 10 years, a decade, is a little bit late to the market. So what do you think about that?
Short secret, Igor doesn't appreciate too much the historical importance of this company, but I honestly think it's from historical point of view, they changed the market totally, and it's very smart move just to connect the dots. By the way, this is a model, very actual model for the 21st century. A lot of you maybe even are doing the same things. It's a little bit old corporation. It's a little bit, in some cases already, it's not already, in trend, and that's not so modern. But I think embracing blockchain will help them to, as I said, to change a little, at least to reshape the process and so on. Because a Swift transfer means a lot of connections, and keeping those connections, those dots active is very important, specifically when cross-border payments right now is just 1 second, even less.
Yeah.
5 milliseconds is grosso modo now the threshold. Of course, it takes a lot. Of course, SH model for Swift, commissions they're taking are really good. And by the way, the companies who decided to fight with Swift, they didn't fight on the same market with Swift.
Exactly.
They just created a new one with blockchain. I'm sure it will reshape the market. We can make, to speak about next 5 years or 4 years and a half till 2030, Swift can become a more powerful organization because of blockchain. There is such kind of a chance. Of course, everything depends on how they'll manage this. If they will take out from their actual structure, process of taking decision, or take out this department, this team that will implement, then they have a huge potential. Like with the base that Swift has, is like, you just imagine, $153 trillion was processed last year. It's a huge base. You have the customers, you have the banks. It's a trusty name already. Then yes, they can just jump to it'll be a rocket to the space. If not, then yeah, it will be quite a
bummer.
Yeah, quite a bummer.
But I'm always trying to think in exact steps, like when you're introducing the ledger network. So basically, right now, the Swift is just sending the messages across the correspondent banks. And let's assume we're going right way. Like we're taking the blockchain, we're introducing the virtual ledger when the bank A is actually doing the transaction inside of the blockchain, another one receives, and that settles between two correspondent banks. My question is, let's assume that everyone will do, like all the major banks, neobanks, they in this network. But then actually, I think going away from Swift becomes really easy because you are not going to replace the Swift network with any other network. You are going just to use another blockchain. And does it make a threat to Swift that they build in or they dig in their own grain by their own hands?
Difference is that, as I mentioned several times, the word trust.
Yeah.
Not all the banks are using blockchain. I mean, the majority of banks, traditional banks, are not using this. We have to understand that this idea this feature is dedicated for a specific, very specific target. It's traditional banks, traditional market used with traditional processes. Blockchain will help them, and with smart contracts, will help them just to transfer the information quickly. If those banks will change the policies and the process inside to take decision also quickly, then it'll be a bonus. If not, it will be just unuseful thing.
Okay, that totally makes sense. So let's see who will project the future. And I think we need to put in the Google Calendar or in Calendar the notification in kind of 5 years to check up how the virtual ledger or the blockchain ledger holds for the Swift, and if they still exist on the market, and given the monopoly, are they still the biggest player?
Just in any case, we honestly wish Swift success. We have a little bit different opinion on the fact how it will go. We look very skeptical of this, but we honestly wish success to Swift, because if they will succeed, then it will be a first financial company that past 100 years, and they continue to modernize and to continue to develop. So it's
anyway,